Wait, another prototype? Oh, it's the same one, it's just the mouth. I almost couldn't tell. Alright, I'm a gamer. I got a godlike aim. I'm a gamer. Come on! Come on! Come on! There's gotta be a phase 2. Okay, yeah. Absolutely gotta be a phase 2. Wait, no phase 2? Alright. Hello, how's it going? I had some technical difficulties, so while we're at the beginning of the stream, I'm gonna figure out a little bit of them. How's it going, Chuck? I'm glad you were able to watch at your new job, I guess. How are you? So I put out a new video on Monday, and I wanted to do a short live stream to both promote it and because I haven't been live streaming as much as I was before. So I feel like while I'm not doing consistent streams, it would be fun to... Okay, oh, I think we're good. The thing I was having trouble with was the command bot. And let me try that again. Could have a command for that. Let's see. Yes, no? It's coming up, but the commands aren't coming up. So why is that? Going through on both chats. Nothing wrong with you, by the way. I mean, no sound on the oh, okay, yeah. You're good. Appreciate it. So I want to know why my commands aren't working. What if I do YouTube? Anything? I guess I'll have to worry about that another time. It says it's connected, that the stream is live. Let me close it and open it, and if that doesn't work, then I've done all of the troubleshooting that I could possibly do. By turning it off and turning it back on, that's step 1, isn't it? But we'll be going over a little bit about my channel, a little bit about what I've missed gaming news-wise and stuff, and then I wanted to do Panzer Dragoon. I wanted to find a short game that I could play in 1 to 2 sessions. And I was looking... I bought this game physically a long time ago, and I never ended up playing it. And I think it was originally Sega Saturn? That's what it looks like. Yeah, the original was Sega Saturn. I am very curious why there's a Game Gear version of it. Let's see. Game Gear. What does that even look like? I know the idea of Panzer Dragoon was showing off the 3D graphics. So the Game Gear is not exactly the best for that, but that's interesting. That's a little bit of gaming knowledge. Let me see how much that is. It's probably like $1 billion. Panzer Dragoon. I know Saga is worth a lot of money, but that's not what I'm looking at today. Looks like it was Japan only, which makes sense. Even Japan, like, usually Japanese versions of games are a lot cheaper because they've made a lot more. And they don't have to worry about shipping them to another country and all that stuff. Localizing and all that. Hey, Duncan, thank you. Thank you for the follow. But seeing a Japanese copy of a game still be expensive is pretty crazy. So, a little bit of knowledge there, I guess. I don't know what the R zone is. Sounds made up. And the Xbox. So, I think it's Panzer Dragoon Orgia? Panzer Dragoon Orta. I think Panzer Dragoon Orta unlocks the original Panzer Dragoon on the disc. I think you have to beat the game and then you unlock it. So that's why I'm assuming that's why that's on Xbox. No problem at all. I meant to follow you on Twitch ages ago. Oh, appreciate it. Also, I have another game recommendation for your backlog. I have heard of Chained Echoes. So I'm really into those kinds of games. And I think it's really cool that the main goal of Chained Echoes is to make a game without grinding, where every battle is strategic in some way, while still being what I think is turn-based. I haven't seen a ton of gameplay of it, but I've seen some people talk about it. So I'm really interested in the idea of Chained Echoes. I've heard people say really good things about it. So that is absolutely on the radar. Xbox. 16 matches for Xbox. So Panzer Dragoon Orta was released on Xbox in late 2002 in Japan, 2003 America and Europe. So here, the game featured large amounts of unlockable content, including a story encyclopedia, side missions, video cutscenes from the previous games, and the entire playable game Panzer Dragoon. I want to know if... So I have Panzer Dragoon Remake, that's what we're going to be playing today. I want to know if you can unlock the original Panzer Dragoon on that remake. Because that would be interesting. I really like the idea of, you know, remakes in general. But if remakes, a lot of, like, I think PS2 era, I guess I can't really say consistently, but there's a few games that are remade that include the original ROM of the game in it. So I would love to see if the Switch version I'm about to play has that in any, especially because the game is so short. From what I understand, the first Panzer Dragoon is like an hour long. The turn-based combat's really interesting. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Gotta get back to work for now, but let's do... Yeah, I would love that. I would love to. Thank you. I appreciate it. Alright, let me test my commands. Let me see. Because the one thing I want to talk about is the new video that I made. Yes, it's working! Okay. I wonder why it wasn't working before. I was having such a hard time, like... That's kind of what I get for taking a break from streaming. But that is the last thing that was weighing on my mind, was trying to make the commands work. Because it's in the title. I have a new video. I'm really excited about it. You guys should all watch it. And I wanted to make sure I had a link to it. Okay, well, I can formally start the introduction of what we're doing today now that I've got that out of the way. We've got channel updates. I just want to talk a little bit about the progress that I've seen with the channel, how I'm happy with it, all that stuff. Talk about the latest video, which is on Unsighted. It's an indie game. Really good indie game. I also did a YouTube short since the last time I streamed, so I'll go over that a little bit. I played the Pathless. I have an idea for a future video, and I want to briefly go over it, because I did a little bit of brainstorming about what I want it to be about. And I'm really happy with, like, the two big things that I want to talk about. I guess I'll go into that when I do it, so we'll keep going. Other house cleaning for the channel, what I've been playing, what I plan on playing next. We'll do a little bit of the gaming news. And then, again, as far as channel updates, I also want to do a little bit of live streaming updates, because I still want to do live streaming. It's just not the main focus of what I want to do right now. And then when that's done, we'll go to Panzer Dragoon. So the first thing is, I've said it in the past, my video on Chrono Trigger was my first video to really get a lot of attention. So I really appreciate all the feedback for everybody who watched the Chrono Trigger video. It's sitting right now at 11k views. It brought a lot of attention to the channel, and I got up to 300 subscribers. And that's been really rewarding. Everything that I've made beyond Chrono Trigger, I feel like I've put just as much work into, and I'm really happy with how the videos have turned out. Unsighted was the newest video that I released on Monday. This is an indie game that I played at the start of the year. It's honestly become one of my favorite indie games that I've ever played. It's that good to me. In the video, I watched one developer interview that's on PixelPunk's channel, and they were really clear about the game's influence being Zelda, Metroid, and Dark Souls. And the main point of this video is I think that they do a really good job of melding what makes all three of those games interesting and making them work together. And not only do they do that, but they include their own story world and time mechanics that really made this game stand out. I was really excited finishing this game to write a review for it. I played it once, I played it again, and then I played a few more hours of it with co-op with a buddy of mine. I also played the side modes, so I could talk about them briefly in the video, but if you want a really solid indie game that has shot up the list of one of my favorite indie games of all time, I definitely recommend watching this video, getting an idea of what the game is, and looking out for it yourself, because the developers, when I went to look at their... I was really curious. I went to look at like a website or a Twitter page or anything like that. I didn't notice itch before. There's Moby Games. I think Moby Games is a good catalog of what they worked on. So what I was surprised by is this is Studio PixelPunk's first release. And I really want to know what kind of background or what kind of smaller projects, because it's made in large part by two different people. It is made by Yanni Pixel and Iron Fairy. Those were the main two working on the game. And I really want to know what their past experience is before Unsighted, because the both of them really have a strong grasp on what worked in the games that they were influenced by and how to package it together in such an interesting way. And not only that, just how well the game respects the player. It is 1/3 part a Metroidvania, and those games, Metroid games or Metroidvania games in general, have like a community spotlight for being good games to speedrun and good games to sequence break. And Unsighted is designed in a way that respects the player and like actually encourages them to do those two things. It's hard baked into the in-game time limit and just how upgrades work. And I think I'll leave it at that. Like, the main point is this game blew me away, and I absolutely want more people to check it out and to play it. So the link to the video will be in the chat for Twitch, and I should put it in the description of the video once I upload this video to the second channel. The other thing was I did a YouTube short on the Pathless. This surprised me a lot. This game I bought kind of on a whim. I had a passing recommendation from a friend, but I ended up getting it on sale for the physical copy of the game. And I spent the first 2 months of this year catching up on a lot of the indie games that I missed. And the Pathless, I am really glad I played because it just took me by surprise. The focus of the YouTube short is mostly to cover the idea of the Pathless being an open world type game, but without a lot of the trappings that open world games fall into. And I'm a little more critical of open world games just because it's not my favorite type of genre. But the Pathless took the concept and did some really unique things with it. And the title, The Pathless, an open world that doesn't need a map, the game is designed in such a way where you don't need to pull up a map in order to enjoy the game, or like, there's not even one in the game. So it's designed in such a way where you don't need a map, and I thought that was a really interesting angle to make a YouTube short on. Maybe I'll replay it and do a full video sometime, because I actually, again, it's another game that just by chance I played and really blew me away. I would love to do a deeper breakdown and even complete this game sometime. It'd be really fun. Future videos and ideas. So I'll talk about it more when I go to the games that I have played, but I played an indie game called Eastward, and it was really good. It was really cozy. It had a really good narrative to it. I was thinking about making a video on it, but the reason that I think for right now I'm not going to is because most of the things worth talking about are how well the narrative was done. And I'm not sure if I want to make a video that is talking about the narrative when that's the reason you want to play the game. There are other things that are interesting about it and other things that are worth critiquing when it comes to gameplay, but I want to find a way to talk about the game in both a way that doesn't spoil the narrative but gets you interested in it. So I'm gonna kind of mull over it. Maybe it'll fall to the wayside and I won't do a video, but it's something that I started writing some thoughts on. The other big one that I'm excited about is a lot of my videos are done on specific games. What's up, Mox? How are you? Welcome. A lot of the videos that I do on my channel are on specific games, and only one of them so far, which I'm really proud of, the appeal of the less you know, the better, is not on a video game review, but is on an idea. And I thought of another video that I could do in the same, like, just not a game review. I thought of another idea, and that is, the two things about it are how you move within the world and repeating animations. And the topic of discussion is partially about open world games and how slow it can be to navigate, but I want to write it in a way that's not negative. So I think I found a healthy way to both introduce the video, to both not come across as like, these are things that I hate about gaming, and to focus it more on, these are examples of what games do that kind of entertain you while you move within an open world, and go from there. And then the other half of that is about repeated animations, because there's a lot of games that have some form of, not necessarily even grinding. One example, I'll give two examples. Let me see if I can pull this up. You need to start your own podcast. Not a priority right now. I think podcasts are something people do after they make it, not before they make it. So one thing that's kind of ever present for me, I feel like this is such a me nitpick that I want to include it in the video, but I don't know how right now. Like, I need more examples. But there's a lot of games with ladders, and the act of interacting with a ladder to climb up and down it to go from one place to another is so slow in some games, but it's really fast in others. When I was asking my Twitter, one example that was given to me was Sonic Adventure. There is a ladder from the bottom of Mystic Ruins back to the top, And for some characters, they climb that ladder extremely slow. And for some reason, Big the Cat just books it. So a good example would be something like Nier Automata. You can slide down ladders, you can jump off of them and glide. You can jump up them, so you can get up faster. So I'm trying to take the idea of, and that's the thing, is I want to do this in a positive light, so I don't want to just nitpick stuff that like bothers me and just call it a day. I want to try to be constructive about it. So another one is I recently played Final Fantasy XII, and there's a mechanic called quickening. And what that is the game essentially stops to show you a cutscene of a really strong attack, and you cycle through your party members, reset and redo, kind of like back to back to back to back. You're watching these cutscenes of really strong abilities with very little interaction in them, and it's something that's repeated throughout the entire game, and you can't skip them because it's like an actual attack mechanic. So things like that I want to kind of identify in different games and talk about. So they're not exactly the same topic, but I think I can write a script in a way where they're both worth talking about in the same video. So I'm really excited about that. The more that I do these videos, and plus the other thing is really hard. So when I made the appeal of the less you know, the better, I was playing a lot of short games that are in the same, that are within the same topic. Like you can see just in this video, I talked about all of these games, and thankfully a lot of them were short, but I had to play through some of them for the first time. I had to play through part of them to get footage. And it takes a lot more work to make videos like these than it does to make a single video on a single game and just sometimes include B-roll of something else. So it's gonna take a lot of work because there's still games that I want to play that I want to talk about. One of them is Stray. So I'm gonna be playing through Stray on my own time in order to get footage and write part of the script on that, because I think that does a really good job of fitting into what I want to talk about. So it's costly too, because I had to buy a lot of those games that I'm going to be either just playing for a couple hours to get footage of, or playing through entirely. Are you excited for the new Zelda later? What are you playing lately? Oh, listen to a Beardy Jack podcast. I'm open to the idea. You know I like talking about video games. I am excited for the new Zelda. It actually, I think, comes out pretty soon. Does it actually have a release date? Tears of the Kingdom? I think it's like March or May. Okay, it's May. You know, it was one of the M months. I'm excited to play the new Zelda. I don't know if I'll get it on release. I've actually considered replaying Breath of the Wild. That's actually another game I gotta put a little bit of time into to get B-roll footage for the video that I just talked about. But I'm interested in it. Breath of the Wild for me is definitely worth a video. I've got a lot of thoughts on Breath of the Wild that I'll try to summarize. Part of it is I miss the dungeons. I think that reusing the Sheikah area, the like high-tech rooms for all 4 of the main dungeons, plus all of the Sheikah places. The names escape me right now. But a lot of the reused environments for some of the dungeon areas were just really boring. I kind of miss the more traditional Zelda dungeons, and I think that they could still include those in some way. The other thing was there was a lot of different interactions that were really interesting with the environments and with the enemies, but I think that the enemy variety itself was a little lacking. So I would like to see a sequel to Breath of the Wild that so the way that Majora's Mask built upon Ocarina of Time, like it reused assets but made a new experience and a unique experience. I want to see the same done with Tears of the Kingdom. I want to see the same engine, a lot of the same assets. I'm fine with that. But if they, and the story, I guess, is another thing. The story of Breath of the Wild left a lot to be desired, especially because of how they showed off the cutscenes in the trailer for the game. I was really disappointed that most of the cutscenes that were in the trailers were just pulled from past visions in the game. And I feel like the first area of Breath of the Wild is a really good example of how you can, and again, I could go on for a while. I feel like there's a lot to talk about with Breath of the Wild, but the way that the quote first area funnels you into a story should have been done more than once in Breath of the Wild, because you head to that area and then Sidon flagged you down, gives you some character, some story, and then because it's raining and you can't climb everything, you have to approach Zora's domain in like a specific path. Then you're given the giant and go from there, and then the rest of the game doesn't really pull you aside like that. And I think the reason is because they don't want to force you into that as your first area, but they want to encourage you to go there, and I think that's really cool. But the environments already do that. Like the desert area, for example, you need I forget what you need to survive because I know it's too hot. I know you can eat berries to stay warm in the cold, but I forget what it is the other way around. I'm excited for the new Mario Kart 8 tracks on March 9th. Wish they wouldn't put so many tour tracks though. I'm not opposed to tour tracks. It's interesting to play, because like from the footage I've seen of Mario Kart Tour, you can't fall off the track. So it feels really weird to play through brand new tracks that you don't have like an insane amount of control over. And they've been fun so far. That's true, the tour tracks are low-key fire. So it's cool to see them recycled in a game that I actually care about. I'm not like opposed to that at all. I think wearing armor, I think you can wear light armor that lowers your heat. I need a refresher on that. I think they have a release date. Mario, it's posted in the gaming news. Chuck put it in there, so I'll go over this briefly again. Not release date. What's it? Pack. Here. Let's check gaming news. Wave 4. I just want to check the release date and then we'll... Ooh. Whoa. Reopen closed tab. Did I do something? Why is this small? Okay, problem not for now. Wave 4 is March 9th. You guys said that in chat. Okay, so it's in about a week. And then we'll pretend like whatever I did in the last browser didn't happen. The other small thing, I had 3 YouTube channels. The third one I didn't really promote at all. The third is just a clips channel. But I actually deleted all the shorts. YouTube is so weird. When I do @RyanBeardy clips. I guess they don't want to show search results for things that don't have videos, because I deleted all of these. YouTube made multiple sections for videos, shorts, lives, playlists, all that. So like the live and the shorts being their own tab. I decided I'm gonna do my highly produced shorts, post them on the main channel. I'm gonna delete the, not delete, but not use the clips channel for right now. And I'm gonna put shorts highlights that I would have put on the clips channel into the shorts of the second channel. That's another small thing. So if you don't already follow my second channel, that's where all of these live streams go when they get uploaded. And they're edited with like an intro in the beginning and just cut all the downtime. If I need to leave for anything, I'll cut that out. So if you miss a live stream, you can watch it here. The tour tracks look nice, but they're pretty wide and uninteresting. Like the whole DLC is to promote tour, but I still love the DLC as a whole. Best thing Nintendo's done lately. Yeah, I think you and I were together when I said, before it was released, I was like, I really don't want Mario Kart 9. I just want more DLC for Mario Kart 8. And I didn't think they were gonna do that. And so like that's like, like my shit right there, is the fact that they did that actually. I don't think I'm going to Magstock. So it's not their fault, but it was pretty divisive about them having to move locations and have like a big old price hike. They said that they would make it worth it, like there's more amenities at the new location, but I want to wait and see what people think of the new Magstock before I go there. And I've got a few other things planned that I want to try to do. So the only conventions that I think I'm going to, sadly, GameSwap is canceled. I didn't know until Chuck Storm told me about that. So too many games in the summer. A friend brought up Otakon in passing, so I'm thinking about that. And then Super Smash Con in August. I'm like, I want to say like 80% think I'm gonna go. It just depends on if I take like a vacation that's not a convention that's going to be in the time as Super Smash Con. So I got to think about that when it gets closer, but I'm like an 80%. Magstock was, or Magfest was really good. I was happy to be back because the year before I got COVID like 2 days before Magfest and I couldn't go. And then the year before that is when they didn't have it because of lockdowns. So I was happy to be back. Unfortunately, I brought COVID back with me at MagFest this year, but I had all of the vaccines. I had the booster, and I didn't really have symptoms other than just being exhausted. I thought it was because that I was at MagFest for 4 days, I wasn't really sleeping much, but when it didn't get better come Wednesday, I did a test and figured out it was COVID. TwitchCon, I am not going to TwitchCon. One, I'm not too interested in TwitchCon, and when it comes to the West Coast conventions, I've only been to the West Coast once as a kid, and it was a road trip. It was one of the best vacations that I had taken as a kid. Like, we drove from Maryland to, I think the farthest point was Las Vegas. But we were only in Vegas to drive through the strip, and then we headed home. So I've never been there as an adult. If I go to the West Coast, I want to actually take a formal vacation there rather than be stuck to a convention. So I would like to do some more vacations, but I also want to do some more conventions. But I don't, I gotta pick and choose now that I'm making house payments and stuff. You would love Arizona, like a week there with 3 national. Yeah, I would love to do the parks. I want to, from that road trip, one of my best memories is just walking around different parts of the Grand Canyon. So I would love to go there and even like do some hikes in like the nearby parks and stuff. I know you gotta like know your stuff to hike the Grand Canyon, like inside of it. So I'm not opposed to it, but I don't want to, put myself in danger, So now I can go to what I've been playing. I think I have used that app before. So I've been playing some Final Fantasy games. That's the easiest place to start. I played Final Fantasy 12 for the first time. I would love to do a video on Final Fantasy 12 at some point. I don't know when, and I might want to do a second playthrough, so I don't think it'd be soon, given that I've already moved on to some other video projects. But I would love to do it. It's interesting because Final Fantasy 12, I played it intentionally because it was one of the games that was like kind of the least talked about. It wasn't the first PS2 Final Fantasy. There was like a bunch of reasons why I thought people didn't talk about it, but I know it's because Final Fantasy X was exciting being on the PS2, and maybe it was less exciting that 12 was also on the console. But I played the PS4, the Zodiac Age, and I don't think I would have gotten through the game if it wasn't for the ×2 and ×4 speed ups that are built into the PS4 version. But I had a really good time with the story. I was pleasantly surprised with the characters in the story. They're honestly like some, I don't know, like Balthier, for example, is one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters now because he's just written so well. The gameplay was pretty interesting. Not entirely my cup of tea, but I did have some fun with it, and I feel like I would have more fun the second time around. Excuse me. I feel like I would have some more fun the second time around, the way that the job systems are done. I feel the same way about Final Fantasy X with the sphere grid, because it took the whole game to wrap my head around both things, and I feel like now that I know them, it would be fun to jump back in the games and know what I'm doing from the start. Another thing Final Fantasy related is I actually went and bought Final Fantasy XIV. In the past couple years, I played the free trial up to level 60, including award-winning expansion Heavensward. So I was already level 60 at the time, and top 3 favorite games from last year. I will do that. I actually have a tier list I can bring up and show you. We did a stream at the end of the year where I made a tier list of all my games. But I never really got into MMOs. I tried WoW in the past, dropped it. I may have tried it one more time and dropped it immediately, so like I don't know if you want to count that. I played Final Fantasy XIV's free trial, bounced off of it, got back to it, bounced off of it, and then one of my local friends actually has a free company and does some of the end-game content, and invited me to play, told me that the game was on sale, so it was like $30 for all of the expansions, including the most recent one. So I was like, I can spend $30, play it for a month. I paid another month and got through A Realm Reborn, which is the base game, and then I played through Heavensward, which is the first expansion, and it was surprisingly good. They weren't kidding when they were talking about how good the story is in some expansions. So Heavensward was really good. I'm playing through Stormblood right now, and that I'm like not really enjoying as far as like the story goes. And I've heard people kind of share that same opinion. I'm taking a little break now, but I might come back to Final Fantasy XIV. I think the other reason that I bought the game when I did is because now if I want to play it, I just have to worry about the month subscription rather than the larger price of buying the game. But I can give you some thoughts as I go. I know there's a lot of people who are really into FF14 and really appreciate the producer, Yoshi P. I think his title is producer. I don't know if it's a developer, like main head developer, or what have you. But he's also working on Final Fantasy XVI, which I actually dropped some gameplay of. I haven't watched it yet. But at the time, because I couldn't get into 14, I was looking forward to 16 so I could play something by Yoshi P. But now I get to do a little of both. The top 3 games, I don't think I actually posted the list. I gotta figure out where it is. I don't think put it on Twitter. I actually should have uploaded it somewhere. But let me find it really quickly. So it's not on Twitter. Let me check my folders. At worst case, I can just pull up the stream that I did the tier list on. It looks like I might have to, and then I'll just pause it there. So benefits of having a second channel to upload to. I tried to do an edited version where I put it on my main channel, but I ended up going against that. This is the tier list. So my top 3 games, I don't know if those are in order. Let me look at them. So like Buddy Simulator was my favorite game. Well, the other thing too is, do you want games that released in the year of 2022? Or do you want games that I played for the first time? Because one, I didn't play a lot of games that released last year. I think I maybe played 2. And then there were a lot of games that I just was playing. Play Legends Arceus. I don't really want to. I don't want to. I'll get, so as far as like every game that I played last year, Buddy Simulator was my favorite. Outer Wilds was my second favorite. Neck and neck there. I feel bad not putting Outer Wilds ahead because it really is like an amazing game. Mother 3 I played in high school for the first time, and so I played through it again, and it's just as good. Chrono Trigger and Sekiro are also like everything on the S tier. I think deserves to be there. It still remain the same. But I think the games that came out in 2022 that I played was Resident Evil 8, which I need to double check. I know Ghostwire Tokyo. So no, Resident Evil 8 was 2021. That's crazy. Like, is that even right? I think Franken might have, but that's a really small indie game. Pokemon came out. I think I might have only played 3 games. So Pokemon came out 2022. 2021. 13 Sentinels was like 2019 or 2020. I don't remember. And then, so Ghostwire Tokyo and Pokemon, I think, are the only 2. So I guess it would be Pokemon Violet. Begrudgingly, that's like the best game of last year I played out of omission. So that's the Final Fantasy games that I've been playing. I also, like I said, spent last year, or sorry, not last year, January and February trying to catch up on a lot of the indie games that I missed. So I played The Pathless. I thought that was phenomenal. I played Sayonara Wild Hearts. That was good. Red Strings Club. Yeah, it was bad. You guys can see behind the scenes, so I can give you a list. So Red Strings Club was really interesting. That was a game that was a really small indie game that is mostly a visual novel with some things to do. Still bought the Violet DLC. I don't think I'm going to buy it, personally. I was not that interested. But Red Strings Club was interesting. It was like cyberpunk. It was about the idea of if you can change... If with technology you can change your negative emotions. And then because it's cyberpunk, it's like only the rich can afford these things. So you're making choices about who gets what and who's requesting what. And then the idea is if you can make those changes without people's consent, would you do it? and it was really good because it kind of turns most people, and by most people I mean myself, into a hypocrite, where it's just like a really interesting topic. It's like, no, you want people to be able to do it, you want people to be able to consent, but once they consent, then like, who cares? If you want to make yourself have less anxiety, then like, you get the robot bug that gives you less anxiety. But if you don't want it, then you say no. And then it brought up more serious things like, okay, if this thing does go into effect, then you set the limiters on it. And it brought up stuff like sexism, racism. It's like, if you could get rid of those things, if people were infected with the computer bug, to get rid of those things, would you force it on people or give them the option? I was like, things would be better without racism. Things might be better without, you know, this bad thing and this bad thing. And it's like, oh, you're a hypocrite, aren't you? You said you wanted people to give consent, and now you're saying you want these things gone. So it was really cool. It's a short game. I recommend people play it if they have the time. The reason that I first was introduced to it and bought it is because of the composer Fingerspit. Has really pleasant ambient music, both for video game soundtracks and for their own works. So I recommend playing the game and also listening to any of the music that's on Spotify or probably YouTube for Fingerspit. Really good artist. I played Untitled Goose Game. That was fun. Later Alligator was cute. It reminded me of point and click games like Pajama Sam and Freddy Fish and all those. It brought me back to those. I don't have a lot of nostalgia for those except for Putt Putt. So playing Later Alligator was really fun. Just a couple hour experience that brought me back to that. How Fish is Made is a very like 20-30 minute indie game, and it's really weird, but it's really good because it kind of talks about choice and the not exactly the importance of choice, but the miracle of being able to make a choice. And I thought that was really interesting. That's a free game, 20-30 minute play. It's on Steam. I recommend it. Milk Inside a Bag of Milk is another 20-minute game. That one goes on. I got it on sale for like $1 because I heard about the sequel. And so I bought and played both games. The first one I actually liked a little bit more. I think it does a really good job. Kind of putting horror to communicating trauma and communicating anxiety through horror in a really interesting way. And I think the first game did it a little bit better than the second game, but they both cover very heavy topics. So, you know, just trigger warning there for very sensitive like mental health topics. But this one is 20 minutes long, this one is about an hour long, and them together I think is an interesting experience. And then I talked about Eastward. I was thinking about doing a video, but it was a very pleasant, very cozy game. I recommend Eastward. I will leave it at that for now. What I plan to play next, I did start Soul Hackers. It's a great title. It's a good title. I started Soul Hackers 2. I wanted to play some more indie games, but I was already going through like JRPG withdrawal. And so I did a poll of like, should I play the 3DS or the sequel? And 3DS won, but I make my own rules and I picked Soul Hackers 2. I would love to do a video on it. I'm still very early in the game. We'll see how it goes. I played some GTA 5 for funsies. I was on my normie arc. I wanted to get some B-roll for the eventual video that I want to do on like movement and animations. Stray, I'm going to play through because that's the same thing. I want to play it to put it in the video. These are two indie games that I also wanted to put on the list. Signalis, I got the physical copy in, and I'm very excited to play it. I've been avoiding like everybody that I everybody's video essays I love watching, just so I can go in as blind as possible. Yuppie Psycho is another interesting like horror indie game that I want to try. And that's it. We can do a little bit of the gaming news, and then here's things that I was considering streaming. So you get the behind the scenes there. I wanted to find some short games to play through today and hopefully tomorrow morning. For the gaming news, I'm gonna go top to bottom this time to see if something, because I haven't streamed in a while, so we'll see if anything is a little too outdated to talk about, or too boring to talk about, because I put a lot of this stuff on there. I can choose to ignore it. How many tour tracks are there actually in this? I know every pack has had like at least 2. So that's 1 tour track. As long as they're new to me, I'm happy, because there's so much content in Mario Kart 8. It's the same with Smash Brothers. With Smash and with Mario Kart 8, it's like I don't care if I'm not the biggest fan of any of the newer tracks or new characters. There's just so much content in the game already that more content is just good content. So I'm excited to see DK submit. That's like one of the GOATs for the Wii game. GBA tracks I'm always interested in seeing reimagined because they're pretty simple. Same with the Super Nintendo ones. Yes, Mario Kart Circuit is actually like a solid, even though it's like a basic Mario track, it's super solid, super fun. The GOAT, Waluigi Stadium making an appearance, that's like amazing. And then a new track, Yoshi's Island, which I'm really excited to see. The new tracks have been kind of like a miss for me. I remember the ice cream track was pretty bad. Not only was it like not fun to look at, but it was really simple. I think it was an oval, and then even like, all right, we're gonna get in there. Do you remember what it was called? Mario Kart 8 ice cream? Ice Sky Sundae. Because the thing that I didn't like was that the whole track's anti-grav, but all of the tells that they do for like this thing gives you a boost of speed is missing. And I think it's Mario Kart Tour. These things boost your speed, but they don't communicate it at all. But they're not going to do it in this. I thought this was a new track. I didn't know it's actually in Tour or whatever I'm looking at. Yeah. I didn't even know you could play Tour sideways. I thought it was a vertical game. But I don't like that track. I hope this one's better. We'll see. I gotta get people together that are local friends and play some more Mario Kart when like the new waves come out. Because this one will be next week, so I could do it sometime this month. That would be fun. With 2 more to go. Elden Ring's getting new DLC, which I think is really awesome. I don't think there's a link to anything. So, obviously, Game of the Year, super fantastic. So, yeah, I was thinking in real time, like, have Souls-like games gotten DLC, and I think they all have. So, maybe it's not surprising. I am very interested in playing this game one day, but I'm not usually the first to get to Souls games. I actually, like, just beat Sekiro last year, and I had a blast with it. I might do Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 as like my next couple, and then maybe I'll visit Elden Ring. But it's really exciting to see that it's getting DLC. It'll like make it worth replaying for a lot of people who've already put like an insane amount of hours into it. And it'll bring new people in, so it'll get even more sales. This I'm gonna quickly sift through because I kind of expected this to be a bunch of mobile games and then an announcement for the DLC, and that's like kind of what I got. They announced the new Pokemon Worlds is gonna take place in Japan. There was a Abomination Pikachu on screen. I just want nothing to do with that. Netflix, this, I really like the art style visually. I am like just interested in it on a surface level. Mobile game, mobile game, mobile game. Pokemon Sleep. Not interested, I'll be honest. The new forms are interesting. I personally, I mean, it's all personal. I don't mind saying I don't like Walking Wake. I don't think it looks that cool. Virizion looks the same, except now it really is a 5G Verizon tower because it's made of metal. And then they showed off the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. I'm a little upset, and again, it's a lot of preference. Pokemon only gets one chance a generation to show off a specific part of the world through the lens of Pokemon, with something like Black and White being based off America, with like X and Y being based off France, and with Scarlet and Violet being based off, I think, Spain and like the surrounding areas. So when I see this DLC that takes me to Japan and the other half that takes me somewhere in the middle of the ocean, I'm a little disappointed because it's like this game is in part about Spain through the lens of Pokemon. So show me what's cool about that part of the world. And here they're just like, you know, like, let's fly you to Japan or let's fly you to the ocean and do it somewhere else. It's a little upsetting, but I wasn't interested in a lot of the trailer, and these specifically about the Pokemon expansions don't show much of anything. So I don't care until I see gameplay. It's cool to see some new designs, some new artwork, but other than that, there's nothing for me to look at or talk about. The state of play, I don't remember what was in here. We're gonna rapid fire some of this stuff too, and that's gonna be okay. I remember this just not being interesting. I just want to get a TLDR, state of play. Some gaming websites usually, yeah, everything announced is what I'm looking for. Suicide Squad, I heard, is a game that always needs to be online for you to play it. I know some people were really looking forward to it. It's also made by the same people who did the Arkham games, I believe. So I hope it's good, but it's not going to be for me. Street Fighter 6 continues to just look fantastic. Baldur's Gate 3, don't know much about. RE4, this is coming out really soon. New Destiny. PSVR, I am happily gonna... This looked interesting. So, I'm a huge fan of Tetris Effect, and they're also porting their other game, Rez. Rez is going to be on PS5 VR, and I want to play that game, but not VR. I think you can play it without VR, but that's research for another day. This didn't look interesting, but I'm interested in playing another game made by the people who made Tetris Effect. So we'll see on that one. This looked... I liked the theming of this. This was, I guess like high school or college level, but put to the theme of like coming of age, where the graduation is like, these are all dinosaur characters, right? And at the end, the meteor is gonna hit the earth, extinct the dinosaurs. So I think it's such a unique concept to tell a coming of age story like this, or whatever they're gonna go, whatever direction they go. I thought that was interesting. I also like how it looks. I think they did a really good job with having this be essentially like all cutscenes with some visual novel stuff. I really like the presentation of this. It looks cool. New Naruto game. New trailer for Airship Syndicate's Wayfinder. Alright, that was the state of play. Nintendo Direct. Was that a sleeper? I don't remember. This stuff happened like a month ago. Pikmin. Oh, okay, yeah. Pikmin 4. Exciting. Xenoblade DLC. Samba de Amigo was interesting to see. Fashion Dreamer. Dead Cells is still getting DLC. Tron. This. I haven't played Ghost Trick yet. I'm really excited to play Ghost Trick and super happy it's on Switch. I would love to cover this game, to play it, and to make a video on it. This also looked cool. This was also level 5. I honestly was kind of not interested in it, and then I found out that it has some turn-based combat. So now I'm just a shill for those kind of games, and I would love to give this a try. I like the art style in it, and again, it has some strategy or turn-based combat in it. So I just for those two things, I'd love to give it a shot. I think Ghost Trick was also level 5, because it was Professor Layton, Ghost Trick, and Deca Police all in the same trailer, but I gotta look into it more. This Bayonetta stuff is exciting. When I heard that they wanted to make 6 Bayonetta games, I was kind of weary. I obviously want some more of the mainline Bayonetta games, but I thought 6 was an interesting scope to kind of keep making games around. And then I found out that they're not all character action games like the other Bayonetta games, and now I'm re-interested. I think it's cool that they're making Bayonetta games that don't play the mainline games entirely, and they're telling a new story and a new part of Bayo's story. I think it's cool. Splatoon, I heard this was paid DLC. It just reuses stuff from the first game. I actually don't know if there was new single player in it. I'm not gonna cover this because I just don't remember. I don't want to watch through it again. Fire Emblem Engage is interesting that it's getting DLC. I don't think that's old. I think all of the Fire Emblem games got DLC. But I got a weird taste in my mouth because this game, specifically Engage, is about just getting past Fire Emblem characters on your party. It just feels like paying for old existing just to see familiar faces, essentially. I don't know, it could be cool. I haven't played the game. I don't have much of an opinion. Octopath 2, I want to know what people think about this, because I feel like the first game people really liked, but it seemed like there was still room to do more, or to just, I don't know. I'm interested to see how people who played the first think of the second. This is one of the Katamari games I did play. Honestly, it's like the first game, but with more content. So it's weird that they remade the first game and then remade this when they share a little bit of content. But it is fun. I would love to play some Katamari. Sea of Stars is still continuing to get coverage. I might wait and see how this game is received. Essentially, well, because I just played Chrono Trigger last year, and this game's heavily influenced by. Chained Echoes is another game that's heavily influenced by some greats. So I have a passing interest right now, but maybe one day I'd love to try these games. Omega Strikers, I remember when that was being played online a lot, so it's cool that it's coming to Switch. This is cool. I do not like Etrian Odyssey gameplay, of no fault of its own. It's just the way that it's formatted I don't enjoy. But I think it's really cool that they're remaking the first 3 games like this. I heard that they were on 3DS. These remakes, I don't know if it was exactly these and these are ports of the 3DS versions, but it's cool that 1, you're putting it on Switch, 2, that you're essentially condensing a game with 2 screens natively into 1. So Big B in Discord actually said this kind of opens the door for other 3DS remakes, and there's a lot of JRPGs that are function similar to this, so it would be cool to see other games brought to the Switch. And of course, these are even getting new content. just going to be the definitive versions to play what are essentially really old classics. Which, let's find out. The Trian Odyssey release date. I don't know how old these games are. So the first one was Nintendo DS in 2007, so they're not super old, but they are old. Advance Wars, which coming out, I think they had to push it back, April 21st it looks like. Kirby Dream Land Deluxe is out now. I would love to buy this game and play it. It looks like they really added a ton of content to an already great game. I've never played the Wii version, I owned it. So I want to get this one and play through it with some friends. This is huge, Game Boy and Game Boy Advance coming to the Switch store. I think not only is it still great just to make the virtual, not virtual console, but to make this product better, but the big thing is that you can do online or local multiplayer with these games that in the past needed link cables. So the fact that you're able to bypass link cables and play some of these games that are some of the hardest to get people together to play because, excuse me, because not only do you need the Game Boy Advance game 4 times, you need a link cable and you need 4 working SPs, Game Boy Advances, what have you. So I hope they continue to add to the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance line so that we can play these games together for essentially what will be some people's first times. Superstar Saga is one of the GOATs. Yeah, they are adding Metroid Fusion. There was, here. These are all coming soon. Fusion, Kirby, Fire Emblem, F-Zero, and some of these are expensive games. So it'll be cool to be able to play these for the first time. This is what is so great about Nintendo making their games accessible is anybody can just pay for this subscription and get all these games. Super Saga is nostalgia just into my veins. If you ask me like what things make me the most nostalgic, it's Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and the Digimon movie from like 2000 are the two things. But all of the Mario and Luigi games I would definitely, like the first 3 I recommend for sure. And the Superstar Saga got a 3DS remake, and that's just as good. Aside from just nostalgia with the graphics, I'd probably recommend the 3DS one just as a whole. From what I remember, it's just nothing but a better version. They shadow dropped Metroid Prime, which is exciting. I would love to play through this again. The thing is, I played Prime 1. I didn't finish it because I stopped at the artifact gathering. I played and beat Prime 2. I never played Prime 3, but I was going to play it before Prime 4 came out. And now they've remade and released Prime 1. So it's like, oh, I have a reason to go back and actually finish that. The only thing that I think is worth talking about is a lot of people wanted the Prime trilogy to come to Switch, and that didn't happen. And while it would have been nice to have all 3 games in one for just, you know, straight up port, I do like that they're doing a full-on remaster, and from what I've heard about this remaster, it is, you know, essentially perfect and the best way to play it now. So it might be a net positive in the end because you're playing what's essentially the best, most updated version of Prime. And if it does well, they'll do it for 2 and 3. We'll see. But I like it. Again, I, as well as a Metroid fan, am disappointed that it's not 2 and 3 as well. But maybe long term we'll get there. We'll see. And there are still ways to play these games, so I'm excited to see if they do more with these remakes. This game I'm really excited to play. It's from the creators of Danganronpa. I am a little kind of upset that it's going to be a Switch exclusive. Now, given trends, my gut tells me that it's just a timed exclusive, whether or not they sell it as such. So I am going to wait for this game to be released on PS5 if that day comes. If not, then I'll just play it on Switch at a later date, but I am interested just because I'm a fan of the Danganronpa series. I want to see where this goes and hopefully play it one day. Because I'm glad that they're not just continuing to make just endless Danganronpa games, and that they're using the same development team to make like a new project, which is cool. This kind of blew my mind because I have some friends that are really, really passionate about the first Baten Kaitos. And I was gonna buy the games immediately, but they're actually worth a little bit of money, so I've held off on it. So it's hilarious to see them, what I think is obscure but still has a cult following, to see it get the HD widescreen remaster treatment. It's such a cool thing. I'm excited to get this. I don't know if they're doing a physical release. I'm gonna check right now if there's anything listed. But I want to check these games out one day, and I'm really happy that it's gonna be on the Switch. It looks like there isn't anything yet for physical. Actually, a lot of good stuff in this direct. I'm skipping Fantasy Life. Briefly going over Professor Layton because Level 5 again has like a lot of announcements in this trailer. I've never played through a Layton game, but I think it is exciting having them on a console again, the same as I say again, but they were originally all DS, 3DS games to my knowledge. So having these games move to consoles in the same way that Pokemon has is interesting, exciting. I'm gonna skip through all of this and go straight to Zelda. I don't know, did they show a lot for this? They probably showed enough for me and some others to be excited. I'm not gonna break it down as a whole other than just to say I am excited to see what this game is gonna be like. I am not going frame by frame. You gotta go to somebody else for that. You missed my top 3 games. Also, I had an extra question. Did you mean games that were released last year? Or games that released last year? Or games that I played last year? Because released, I only played 2 games. So you're thinking either... So, like, by process of elimination, I've only played 2, and that's Pokemon and Ghostwire Tokyo. But my favorite game that I played last year that wasn't released last year was an indie game called Buddy Simulator, and I cannot say more because everything about that game is a spoiler. Alright, that is the gaming news. I think that's yeah. So I'm gonna put up the be right back screen. I'm going to switch over to let's hear the real news. Recession is at an all-time high. Thousands of years have passed. Time goes by, passing their existence in fear of the ever-present shadow of cyber-genetic warfare. The few remaining human beings struggle to regain the power that they have lost. Wait, no, I didn't even read that one. Oh yeah, the MagFest Jackbox was always really good. Let me know how the volume is if it's too loud. I know this is like, there was still a time where I was buying indie games, or I guess like any game on Switch that was 3D. And I know there was some performance issues with this game on release, but I think it got fixed. I guess it's not going to have the original on it. That's kind of upsetting. Wait, are you familiar with Panzer Dragoon? Because I'm really not. I wanted to play these games, and there's no reason that I haven't up until this point. Maybe we'll do one playthrough on normal, one on hard, if it's that short of a game. Yeah, the original Panzer Dragoon was, I think, 1995, because I just looked it up. And I will look it up again. The remake came out a couple years ago. So the first release, 1995, the re-release is 2020. I bought this and I haven't touched it since. It was Sega Saturn, which was one of the first like true 3D consoles. So they were, I think, releasing this game mostly to show off the 3D graphics. It's an arcade style shoot 'em up. I guess shoot 'em up's not the right word. I don't know what you would call it if it's in a 3D space. But shoot 'em, some people are picky about shoot 'em ups. Shmups. Like Galaga's a shmup. Oh jeez, I'm curious about the music now. Is it good? Are there bangers in here? It is 1995, so there might be some bangers. Here's some certified time capsule classics. Did that guy just die? He just killed and then... I'm having a hard time following. Oh, there's another one. Dude, they're so fast. I feel like I have to. How much is the original? Maybe I should play through the original whether or not it's on here. I think I have to beat Orta to unlock the original, and I'm not gonna... I did play through some games in order to unlock older games on as unlockables. I'll have to see how long Orta is. Either, because I don't have a Sega Saturn. It's one of the few old consoles I don't have yet. Ooh. Ah. I think I am more interested to see what this game looked like in the 90s. Did they even remaster the music? Just the MIDI ass bullshit, and I love it. Alright, I recognize that dragon off the cover. Truly a story without words. Truly, the Switch doesn't even want to remain awake. We're having a brain blast. Alright, we're gonna loot his body first. Got it. Dude, one of my biggest pet peeves is having cutscenes in a game where there's like a big glowing skip button at the bottom right, or that they have controls in the cutscenes. I just wanna scrub it off the screen. Just get rid of the skip button if I'm not going to skip. Those are some sick title screens / load screens. Very aesthetic. Very Switch load time. Very not moving. This game is an hour long because half of it is just a load screen. Ooh, looks nice. I want to play Panzer Dragoon Saga, but that is one of the most expensive video games, just period. But it's a turn-based RPG that is very unique. And one day, I may own it. Just not anytime soon. Maybe after I take out a small loan. Okay, so you can see the projectiles. Got it. I don't know what that bar at the bottom is. I guess my health bar? Whoa! Did I even bother with the... just hold the screen? I feel like that feels way more... way easier. See, while Nintendo was doing Star Fox, Sega Saturn is doing whatever this is. I guess there's no limit to what you can target. That looked like a upgrade or something. Okay, that's my health bar. Confirmed. Shouts out to all the 2 people who had a Sega Saturn back in the day. I don't think the... so I know... I think the Saturn did flop. I was thinking if it was... because they did the Sega Genesis, then they did the, like, insane amount of add-ons. Oh, it even shows enemies behind you on the top right. That's cool. I don't know what I'm supposed to do to hit him. Okay, there's turning. Okay. perhaps I should have looked at the controls. But yeah, Genesis had the Sega CD, Sega 32X. Then the Saturn came out immediately after that and kind of like pissed off the fans, the Sega heads. So I don't think the Saturn sold as well, and then the Dreamcast, I think by all means was successful. I don't know if it was, I'm thinking like it's a cult classic, or it actually was successful. I don't remember. Alright, let's start pressing more buttons. L and R are the camera. They're shooting. A and B. X and Y are also the camera. Right stick does not do anything. So that feels like all of the buttons. I want to see what this looks like. I think they did release this on other consoles. Actually should have looked. It looks fine on Switch. Out of my way. So I can or can't target the blimp itself. Okay, I can. What's gonna let me? Is that gonna do more? It's not doing anything. Oh yeah, turn the camera. That's a really cool idea, and even Panzer Dragoon Saga in an RPG does the same camera mechanic that I've seen. Alright, so I have to shoot these. There's no way I can... I don't think there's any influence to dodge them. Of course some of them are gonna miss. It's not all bad news. I don't know where he's aiming, actually. Am I doing damage? Alright, I don't think there's a way to aim up. I'm having a hard time figuring this out. Where's it going? No. Stay away. Stay away. Back. Back, you scurvy dog. Slowest moving torpedo. Why is your thought to launch a torpedo if I'm flying in the air? First question. Ooh. Episode 1 complete. And ooh, I only missed 2 enemies. Shot down ratio 98%. And I have no idea what credits do, but I have 3 of them now. Ooh, and fast load times. There's the long load screen I was looking for. Whoa. Okay, I am hitting it. Oh, in front. Got it. The radar is cool, the 360 view. It's definitely gonna take some getting used to. Okay, I'm gonna be missing a lot more of these guys. We stopped. And if you look to your left, you'll see another abomination. Oh, wrong way. Whoa! Jeez, I got jump scared there. One in my autograph. Do they really mean any harm? Just little Galaga guys. This game ain't tough. Though I do wish that they stuck out more. So it looks like you can move. Remembering I can turn the camera. Oh wait. The goop is a... How do I hit the goop? What is that? So I can only move left and right facing forward? I don't know. It looks like I'm getting hit. But sometimes they're not shooting goop. You look at one desert and then you think this is Doom. Or Dune. There you are. No. Okay, I guess they're gone. Prototype dragon. Are they not dragoons? They're dragons. Or both, maybe? Alright, how do I dodge things? Boom! Alright. I know how to dodge it facing. I'll have to see if I move while I'm looking in another direction. It does make sense that you gotta put yourself in danger to get a good shot. See you later, nerd. He's the Shadow the Hedgehog of Panzer Dragoon. Also, this song, banger. And now the song's done. I wanted to hear more. Maybe I should have taken longer. Nothing but the deafening silence. Lovely. I'll have to look at how many episodes there are. Maybe I shouldn't. I should just enjoy the ride. Whoa. Alright, I see the thing on the other side. There it is. I guess they don't make them like they used to. That was a boss. In the first level, anyway. We're fracking here? There's no fracking allowed. Oh, there's things all around. I'm surrounded. Gotta check that radar more. Nice, nice. Does it have gyro controls? Because I am playing on Switch. If it is, I want them. Options? Gameplay settings? Hide in game HUD. Aim auto zoom, classic reticle, vibration performance mode. It looks like it doesn't have any kind of gyro in it. That kind of. Oh, there's photo mode. Interesting. I don't know if you still can't hear me, but no, we are playing on Switch. I don't think it has a gyro built in, which is really upsetting because anytime that's an option, I usually go for it. So many enemies. How am I supposed to get them all? Where am I going? Oh, but we're taking a loop. I keep forgetting about the camera. It's such a cool concept, but my brain not that good. Might be one of those areas where you just can't leave until they're all dead. Oh no, we're going. There. Okay. Motion controls are the reason I want to play Star Wars Pod Racer on Switch. I did notice that got a Switch port. So the only time I'm a fan of motion controls is gyro when it comes to aiming. Otherwise, I'm not the biggest fan. Like, if that's Mario Kart type controls for Star Wars Pod Racer, then I'll pass on that. Because you don't get the same kind of accuracy. But gyro controls is like a really good middle ground between aiming with a stick and using a mouse and keyboard. I'm glad the lock one knows what I'm aiming at, because I have no idea what I'm aiming at. Whoa. It's just firing for no reason. Do I go up? Oh, this is so cool. Okay, this is up. That's up. No, that's down. That's up. Really hard to tell. That looks like up. No. No, there's two. Alright, I'm gonna wait for a health bar to pop up. I'm just giving myself early carpal tunnel. Okay, bye. This robot would be excellent at basketball. Whoa. Whoa. Man can dunk. Where's he going? I didn't know there was anything to shoot at the top. Oh yeah. Oh no, there is health bar. I'm gonna say let me wait, but I am not. Okay, now I'm doing damage. You know what would be great? A press and hold instead of having to mash. Oh, we're not done. Ah, we're not done. No, I'm just being followed. But we are done. Missed 10. If this has the original version in it somewhere, I'm gonna do a second playthrough for sure. Otherwise, I gotta figure out what means I'm gonna try the original. What totally legal mean. I've always wanted to buy a Sega Saturn, but I never got around to it. It's definitely gonna be a purchase I gotta make soon. But I also gotta learn what some of the gems are on the Saturn, because I really am not familiar with that library that much. I know Panzer Dragoon Saga, if I wanted to spend like over $3,000. There's Sonic Jam, I think was on the Saturn, which just has a really cool overworld and really cool Sonic graphics. But it's just a glorified compilation. What else? There's gotta be more that I remember. I don't think I do. Maybe there's some good RPGs on the console. I just played Lunar Saga for the first time on PS1, and that was originally Saturn. What's up, Scarecrow? How are you? I'm taking hits. This place looks awesome. I like the design. After this, or between this level, I'm gonna look up what the good Saturn games to get are, and then find out that they're worth way too much money. Ouch. This area reminds me of something. Maybe like just Geiger type stuff. Getting hit so much. I'm doing pretty good. I released a new video on Monday about a little indie game called Unsighted, and it is now one of my... I'm getting demolished. Maybe I should take this slower. It actually became one of my like top 5 indie games I've ever played, like that good, and it took me by surprise. So if you haven't seen it already, yeah, I linked it in there. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. I like the game, and I like the video that I made. I think I did a really good job with it. How have you been? Because I don't think you've been streaming too much lately either. I've been slowing down on the streams, focusing on YouTube, but I thought I would do like a celebratory, hey, I uploaded a YouTube video stream on a very short game. I've always wanted to play Panzer Dragoon. I know it's really short, so I could play it. I might be able to finish it today. If not, then I can finish it tomorrow or this weekend. It'd be bad if you didn't recommend it. What does that mean? It means all my recommendations are good, right? Right? Me and my girlfriend recently got COVID. I'm sorry. Hopefully your symptoms aren't too bad. I got it back after a convention in January, but I had gotten my booster right before, like I prepped for worst case scenario. And when I came home, I thought I was just tired because it's like 4 days at a convention where I'm not really sleeping. And then I just kept feeling exhausted, and I did a test and found out I was positive. But I hope you're both doing okay. Oh, am I? Okay. I couldn't tell what that was. Is that an enemy? Oh, it is. Alright, wait for the health bar. That's rule number 1. Does it have a health bar? Maybe I'm stuck in one place when I switched. And then I have to go forward to move. I think that's what I have to do if I can't shoot it down. It looks like... no, it doesn't look like it's working. Yeah, I did the boosters at the same time as my flu shot, so I did it all at once. Okay, now you... I don't know when it popped up, but somehow you got a health bar now. The arms? It looks like the arms are what's taking damage. I don't know. The tail? No. Alright, let me think about this. So when the arm is off, then I can... It might still be taking damage. Try and aim just at that arm. I don't know why they would be the weak point. Okay, alright, progress. Whoa! I already took a lot of damage too. Alright, so it just has to be the underside? Or the head, the head. Whew. Yeah, while Nintendo was doing Star Fox, Sega was doing Panzer Dragoon. The cool thing that I've noticed is that you can switch views 360. And the other important thing is this was originally a Sega Saturn game. So they were also showing off the graphics. But this is the remake, so we get the remaster, remake graphics. Otherwise, I don't know if there's anything too special about this for its time. But it is a pretty long-running series. There's a lot of games in the Panzer Dragoon series. I want to say like maybe PS3 was the latest new release. Alright, let me look up Saturn games. While we wait for loading screens. Panzer Dragoon Saga. Shining Force, I believe, is a JRPG that I would like to get into. Sonic R, Virtual Lawn, Sonic Jam. I'm trying to point out like iconic ones. There's House of the Dead. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot on Sega Saturn. House of the Dead, Die Hard Arcade, Duke Nukem 3D, Tomb Raider was on Sega Saturn. That's interesting. Shining Force 3, Hyper Duel, and the rest will wait. Daytona USA is probably like a must-have for it. There must not be that many games on Sega Saturn either. I'll have to look up the number of games. I'm sure Japan probably had a little bit more. It means lock on. I guess that is one of the benefits of the longer range. I gotta see what this game looks like on another console. I feel like we're condensing so much into 1080p here. This rainforest, not looking too good. Where do I shoot? I feel like I'm having this problem a lot. Yeah, not being able to move is a big one. When you change your view, you can't turn that well. Maybe I wouldn't be able to beat this on hard. This is slowly ramping up. And then nothing. Whoa! Finger down. This. Very hard to miss. I want to know what's keeping these things afloat, because it kind of looks like they just tied rocks. They're using rocks as a blimp. And I feel like that has the opposite effect. This game will be so much better with a barrel roll. Yeah, for this game I do have the physical copy. I'm playing it on Switch, which I kind of regret getting it on Switch. I know it had performance issues, but they since patched it. They since patched the game. But I still wouldn't mind it on something a little bit more powerful. Yeah, you know me, I need something for the shelf. Come on. Speedrunning this game must just be like how hard you can mash. I feel like this has got to do more damage. If I just mash really hard, then I'll get good at this game. Where are you going? Stay in frame. Please. Alright, that's half health. I guess I should try to shoot those down. Yeah. No. No. The music even paused. We're done, right? I hope people like... I feel like there's no reason for Tears of the Kingdom to be bad. I hope it's good. I'm just not going to play it right away. There haven't been a ton of games that I've been really excited to play on release. And when it is, like with the Callisto Protocol, I ended up not being able to get it on release because I needed to save some money. And then it turned out that it wasn't that good. I still want to play it and I'd love to give my thoughts on it, but I ended up not playing it. I'm gonna wait until they do whatever patches and changes they want to do and then cover it afterwards. What was I gonna do? I was looking at something for the Sega Saturn, other than the game. Oh yeah, how many games? What in particular? I know about their scarce release of just like... I don't know, you have to be more specific, because I know some people don't like the practice of doing limited prints. For some games, it seems necessary because there's only so many people. Okay, yeah, I don't know then. Because I think limited run, a lot of people have good relations with. There is one in particular that I'm not going to say the name of because I want to be right. I don't remember which it is, where they have trouble with delivering things on time, with like delivering things at all. And that one I've tried to stay away from. Yeah, some of the games are on those limited print websites, but also on Amazon and Best Buy. So not every case is exclusive. Yeah. Yeah, I think, Chuck, you had told me about your experience with one of them, but I don't remember what it was. And then you weren't the only one that I've heard. I've even had problems with one where they essentially like forgot to send me the game, and a year and a half later I messaged them and I was like, hey, are these things still being shipped out? And, or like, are they still being processed or whatever? And then in response, they just sent me like a shipping thing, like it was ready, and I just never got sent one. So that, they can be annoying, but unless I hear about specific cases, I don't know. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. There's another thing too, this is something I can talk about, it's Special Reserve. They released Gato Roboto, but they didn't put the final patch on the game, and for a lot of people like me who want these physical games because we want... Jeez, I was not paying attention. Because we want to collect these physical games to have the best patch, the latest patch of them in case like stuff goes down or just for preservation or what have you. They didn't put the final patch on the game, and originally they weren't going to fix their mistake, and now they decided that they're gonna do right by the people who bought the game, and they are gonna ship us a new cartridge with the final patch on it, which is good. It sucks because they're gonna lose a lot of money doing that, but I do appreciate that they're essentially doing right by the customer. And let me read yours. Situation with a customer only being sent a code with zero way of refunding. Ooh. They banned his account from buying anything else because he complained. No, that's bad. I didn't even know some of those sites sold digital copies of things. Alright, I'm keeping you on my main screen, because I think you were hitting me. I gotta figure out what exactly is hurting me. It's a little hard to follow. And see, obviously they need to communicate about when stuff gets shipped, but I'm not opposed to the idea of long wait times in and of themselves, as long as it's communicated. And that's why I was so upset about my situation, because they didn't even tell me that, hey, we're planning on doing this, this is the release window. They'll do, like, quarter release windows, but they didn't update past that. So again, I'm not opposed to long wait times in and of themselves, because it's still a niche thing, and you only have so many people that are going to be buying this, so you're making them for the people who place the orders. But like, you have to communicate. I know I've still got some stuff that I have Inscription pre-ordered, and there's nothing done with that yet. And then the Gato Roboto situation is what I'm also waiting on, which will probably be a while. River City Girls 2 is another one that I have pre-ordered that I haven't heard anything about lately, but I think Limited Run in particular is pretty good. I haven't had any personal issues with them. I'm still low health. I guess I gotta work on staying alive more than shooting at things I see. It's hard to react to. Oh, wait, okay, I can't shoot those? Not going down. Maybe it's not supposed to. I heard over a year for that Scott Pilgrim edition with the vinyl. I got the physical game for Scott Pilgrim and that came in fine, but I didn't get any vinyls. Wish more businesses that take pre-orders would have the stock ready to go in a reasonable time. I am 8-bit is another mess. How many games does the Sega Saturn have? Can I just... Oh, here. 785 Japan exclusive games. There are currently 1,046 Sega Saturn. That's a pretty good library. I'll have to find something to compare it to, though. The only one I know is the N64 has a little over 300 games. And that's a small library. Alright, last episode. The last load screen. Drink it in. Wait, another prototype? Oh, it's the same one, it's just the mouth. I almost couldn't tell. Whoa. Whoa. Help. Please. Okay, if I shoot one, I think it's easy to weave through. I thought I dodged it. Dude, it's so hard to tell. Lasers didn't go in time. Lock one. Alright, I'm a gamer. I got a godlike aim. I'm a gamer. Come on. Come on. Come on! There's gotta be a phase 2. Okay, yeah. Absolutely gotta be a phase 2. Hey, he big. Eating his Wheaties. Wait, no phase 2? Alright. See you later. There's gotta be like a phase something in. That's it. That's it. It just ends like that. No. Wait. Is that the end? Okay, there's no... I'm so confused. Okay, what am I supposed to do? Maybe I'll understand the plot better in the manual. There was some intro text, and I did miss some of it. Okay. Why does it just end so abruptly? It was fun. I'd like to play through it again, but I feel like there isn't too much time or too much to this game that wasn't exciting at the time. No, this series actually has a lot of games. Let's look it up. And one of them is one of the most expensive games just for collectors everywhere. So there is Panzer Dragoon, the sequel, Panzer Dragoon Saga, Dragoon Orta, and then spin-offs and remakes. There's R-Zone, Mini, and Remake. So the last game to come out was Orta, the last new game, because this is the newest, but it's a remake. The last new game was 2001 on the Xbox. So the sequel, Panzer Dragoon 2, was released for Sega Saturn a year later, and it's a prequel. Alright, let me read the plot here. The first Panzer Dragoon was released on the Sega Saturn 95. The protagonist, Kale Flug, a hunter who stumbles into a battle between two flying dragons. One blue, one black. The rider of the blue dragon is mortally wounded. The mission is to stop the dark dragon from reactivating an ancient age of ruin of tremendous destructive power. Okay, so it's just to save the world thing. That's all we did. In record time, we saved the world. I think there's a race in Transformed. What do you mean? Like a racetrack based off of this game? It is Sega. That'd be cool. Let me look it up. Panzer Dragoon Sega Racing. Dragon Canyon. Dragon Canyon, inspired by Panzer Dragoon. That's cool. I never played those games, but I heard they're really fun. Maybe I should pick them up. Oh, sorry, there's still more credits. Okay, we can skip credits. Congratulations! Do I unlock something? If I unlock the original, your skill deserves a reward. I'm listening. Secret mode. What is secret mode? Secret screen command. Up, down, up. It really is the Konami code. It's almost up, up, down, down, left, right, B, B. Panzer Dragoon Remake cheat codes. There's God mode. Expect next game. So episode 0. This will unlock episode 0, a secret stage that was previously unlockable in the original game. That's a different code than what we just did. There's a limited continues super weapon, Pandora's box. What is secret mode? It doesn't even say on this wiki page. No, it does. It's Pandora's box. This code is usable only as... What did it do? Talk to me. Pandora's box is an unlockable menu that makes Panzer Dragoon Remake configurable. It is unlocked via a cheat code after finishing the game. So I didn't even unlock the extra mode. So you don't really stream now? Oh, there it is at the top of the screen there. I'm still open to doing consistent Friday, Saturday streams like I did before. I think right now my focus is YouTube, and I'm gonna prioritize that in every way. So if I get an opportunity to stream through another game and do like weekly streams, I'll absolutely do it. But it's not a priority, so I don't have like an answer other than it's not my priority. But we'll do some fun stuff when I do stream. I kind of want to do episode 0, but I don't really want to do it. So I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for chatting. It's nice catching up with you, Scarecrow. Same with you, Chuck. Haven't Mario Karted yet. The new DLC comes out next week. I haven't played the last 2 DLCs, including the new one. So I will probably play some more Mario Kart. And then there's 2 more DLCs after that. So we still got some more. I don't mind waiting until more come out and not like playing them back to back, because it's nice to get a bunch of new maps instead of just one pack. Yeah. But that's what we'll leave it for today, so thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please check out my latest YouTube video. I put a lot of work into it, and I'm really proud of it, and my command bot is working, so yeah, check it out, and I will see you next time. Bye! Thanks for watching to the end. Consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this, and subscribe to the second channel for live stream uploads. I live stream on Twitch, and I also have a Discord. If you really like my content, please consider sending a tip on Ko-fi. All tips go back into my content by purchasing games for future videos or live streams. Links to all of these platforms can be found in the description below.